Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Today, I'm going to tell you how to use punishment to make you stronger for life's challenges. How do you use punishment to make you stronger to face life's challenges? I'm a backpacker. I love getting in the outdoors, putting on a backpack and going 80 miles into the wilderness to experience the great outdoors that God's given us. It is such a liberating experience to be out there experiencing nature in all of its raw form, whether it's raining or snowing or minus 40 in Antarctica or in Alaska climbing up a mountain, whatever it is. I love this experience. Now, to you, that might sound like grab pliers, pull them on my fingernails, and rip them off because that would be less punishing. And yet, here I am doing this, and you'll see all these strange, crazy nutcases out forging through the wilderness using the same experiential equipment to make it happen. Now, many people look at the backpack as one of the ultimate torture devices. The kids in troop, I think it's 866 in Imperial Beach, California, they must have had a traumatizing experience. They were carrying way too much load because they all came back and like, man, we hated that. That was miserable. Well, perhaps it didn't work out. They weren't used to having a tough physical challenge. Maybe I don't know, maybe they don't work out in PE. Who knows? It was terrible for them. And hopefully it didn't destroy them for the rest of their lives on getting out and trying to be physical. I know I had that experience as a Boy Scout. I was like probably 90 pounds. I was carrying a 50-pound pack. It was nuts. After doing a couple backpacks in the Scouts, I didn't really want to do backpacking. Fast forward to my, I think it was almost 30-year birthday, I decided, I'm going to go backpacking and try this again. It took me a couple times, but I used what I learned to lighten up my pack, and now I don't carry hardly any weight. So this using punishment to make yourself stronger in life adversities, what does that mean? When people go out into the wilderness, lots of things can happen. You can get eaten by a bear, you can get lost, fall off a cliff, break a leg, get struck by lightning, whatever. Things happen in the wilderness, and yet we go out there and we pay a lot of money. We go buy a backpack at A16, REI, Eastern Sports, wherever. We spend a lot of money to go out, to work out, to be grimy, to eat food, to be exposed to elements, and we love the experience. Well, some of us Some of the other we get talked into the idea. My buddy said it was great. My wife said, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful if we did the John Muir Trail? And that's just this like 2 steps from hell. Horrible. So using this experience, why is this valuable to us? Because when you go out into the backcountry and you're grinding up a 13,000 foot pass, knowing that you have to come down, like I did, on Black Rock Pass in the Sierras, through 2 miles of thorn bushes, shredding my leg to hamburger, praying to the dear Lord that there isn't a rattlesnake I can't see, I use that experience to make me more resilient in life. When you're standing at the Department of Motor Vehicles like, oh my gosh, why can't this line be faster? This is horrible. I hate my life. When you go backpacking or you work out really hard or you push yourself on a multi-day experience, like in my book, Adventure Expedition 1 talks about, it actually changes you. And it changes you, hopefully, for the better. Why is that? Using punishment to strengthen yourself actually gives you a mental zen. You know, that zen thing? Yes, it actually gives you a tiny piece of mental resilience to be able to bounce back from difficulties And it also instills a tiny piece of perseverance to push through these just like horrible challenges that we face in life. So think about this. I'm saying, Aaron, or you're saying maybe, Aaron, you're telling me to punish myself so I can be stronger for other punishments? Yes! Now, the key is you cannot look at physical activity, am I going to go out backpacking? No, probably not. Who knows? But some sort of physical activity where you're out in nature, getting green and getting emotions calmed down and getting away from your devices. Like, I know you're watching this on your phone probably, but roll with me here. You get out and you get away from things, you actually start to feel better. So even though it's a challenge humping that huge pack up and down the hills, I don't know, my pack's usually 15 pounds, so I don't care. But if you like the suffering of a 30 or 40 pound pack, yeah, you can do that. So whatever your process is, and I actually have courses I'm developing, video courses, to show you how to do these things without suffering and having a good time. But that suffering, if you choose to call it suffering, will actually give you a tiny piece. Now I'm talking about these tiny pieces. You mean I can't go out and backpack and then for the rest of my life, that awkward parent-teacher conference, I'm going to be able to get through it? Maybe, maybe not. But when you keep doing these things and you go out and experience the challenge of nature, where it's you versus the elements or you versus you, whatever the case is, you give yourself a tiny grain. Now, does that make a strength? Does that pile into the strength of a mountain? Of course not. No, it doesn't. But does one grain here, one grain there begin piling up? And can it build a small mountain that you can use as a reserve of strength? Yeah, it absolutely can. I use the training of backpacking and adventure and travel to strengthen my mental game, to give myself a little bit of suffering, which to me it really wasn't suffering. I wasn't sitting at work and computing. When I run into people hoofing up a trail and, oh, this is horrible, I'm sweaty. And they ask, oh, how you doing? I said, hey, look, it looks kind of rough, but just imagine, you could be at work with your boss telling you what to do, working late at night. It could be way worse. And invariably, the person I tell that to, male, female, it doesn't matter, they say, yeah, you're right. It's really not that bad. Now, is it absolutely true? Have you fallen and broken your leg? No. Statistically, that virtually happens to no one. Does it happen? Yeah. But could you die in a car wreck on the way to work on your crazy hour-long commute? Very possible. I've come close multiple times. So using punishment or suffering to make yourself stronger, it seems like a completely illogical way to go about it. But in fact, it's perfectly logical, because in order to build resilience, you have to put yourself in minor situations where it's kind of tough and, this is kind of uncomfortable, but you push through it, and it builds a tiny bit of confidence in you that over time you do this and do this again, you actually become less and less anxious about the problems you face. So when you're standing in that very long line at the Department of Motor Vehicles, all of a sudden you can think, let's go back to the memory of my outdoor experience. Now, if you were smart, you would get AAA and you would never have to stand in the Department of Motor Vehicle lines again. By the way, I think the only time you need to do that is get your license. Once every 4 years, like, the lines at the DMV are horribly long. You go there once every 4 years, maybe 8. Who cares? Right? But using the experience of pushing yourself and suffering and feeling aches and pains and being dirty, that builds resilience. And resilience gets you stronger, so when you have a really tough experience like being laid off, I had a video I just recently posted about how to bolster your ability to suffer a brutal layoff? Yeah, I just did that. And this is one of the ways to strengthen yourself, because when the inevitable pain and disaster comes and you think, oh, it'll never happen. Really? How old are you? I'm 100% confident if you're more than 30 years old, you've had a few disasters in your life. But by doing things that push yourself physically and mentally and stretch your edge just a little bit, not to where you break, but just a little bit, and you keep stretching and stretching yourself, you can actually become a stronger and more resilient person to handle when the disasters come in your life, so that when you have that punishment and like, man, I can't believe I've got to deal with my boss's complaints, think, I know this is hard, but so often it is all a mental game. By doing physical challenges, you build that mental strength, you work on your muscles a bit, and you work on your mental powerhouse, so when the tough times come and you got to put up your fists, you're more able to handle those experiences. So yes, going out for a little bit of suffering and outdoor experience to make yourself more resilient and stronger, is that possible? Absolutely, I am living proof of it. My name is Linsdau. I'm a motivational speaker. Please consider me if you have an event coming up. I would love to talk to your audience about my experiences, and I'll even eat butter on the stage to illustrate the point. Like and comment on the video. Subscribe to the channel below with a button. I've got links to my speaking site and what I do below. Please support me on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much.